Before I start the series, I want you to know that a dangerous virus spread in the world, turning most of humanity into zombies. At that time, a group of students were alone, suffering and trying to escape from the flood of zombies coming at them. This was the story of our heroes. To understand the story, we had to go back a bit. In a high school, we saw a gang of bullies taking a poor student to the rooftop, so no one saw them. They kept bullying him because he was weak and could not defend himself. One of them grabbed him by his hair because he filed a complaint against him. He slapped him twice on his face and warned him that if he did that again, he would make him regret it. The student got angry and grabbed a metal bar trying to keep them away, but they were more than him. They knocked the student to the ground. The bully kept beating him until he broke his facial bones and stepped on his face with his shoe. The student felt humiliated and tried to attack him with all his strength, but then he tripped and flew off the roof and fell to the ground. Instead of the bully helping him, he left him and ran away. Luckily, the ambulance arrived at the right time and transferred him to the hospital. His father went to check on him and heard the doctor saying his condition was critical and no one was allowed to visit. However, he sneaked in behind him and was surprised that he suffered critical injuries. The student cried when he saw him and apologized because he was a coward and could not defend himself. The father was touched by his words, reassured him, and promised to protect him and get his rights back. But suddenly the student's appearance changed. He made strange noises and turned into a zombie. You might ask me how, dear viewer, and when did this happen? Do not be surprised. The father did this and intended it. He apologized to him that he did this to him and told him he loved him. He grabbed a book and hit him on the head with it. Afterwards, that student lost consciousness. He put him in a bag and took him to bury him far away. But suddenly, while on the road, the bag opened. The student tried to get out. The father held his hand and was surprised he was still alive. He was shocked by what happened. He decided to take him home to try to cure him. 3 months passed since that day. We saw the students at school living their lives. No one noticed that the student had actually disappeared. A group of them were practicing archery and another group was practicing music. During the break, the rest of the students left the classroom. At that time, we saw a girl named Jin sleeping peacefully. She got annoyed that her friends left her sleeping. She decided to go see what was happening. When she entered, she found a small, cute white mouse. She admired its look and tried to play with it, but when she got close to it, it bit her hand. It kept hitting the box right and left to get out. The glass started to crack and Jin got scared of its look and decided to leave. But suddenly, the zombie student's father arrived. We learned he was the science teacher at this school. He asked her about what happened. Jin told him the mouse bit her. Then she left him and walked away, but he went after her and pulled her. He locked her in the lab against her will. At the end of the day, her friends found it strange that she was missing. They tried calling her, but she did not answer. They thought her mobile ran out of charge, so they decided to go to their friend San's restaurant to eat. His mother welcomed them and brought them the food they loved. She even did not take money from them. They rejoiced and thanked her. However, they talked about the science teacher. They said his personality changed 3 months ago and also his smell became bad as if he was a corpse. One of them said this actually happened after his son disappeared. They felt sorry for him because he was poor and bullied. They decided to look for his son in any way, but surely not today. They finished eating and everyone returned home, but a girl named French Fries. An asked to speak with San. She let her hair down in front of him and asked him if he saw her as beautiful. San frankly told her she was beautiful. He kept staring at her as if hearts were coming out of his eyes, but he felt embarrassed by her and did not want to answer her. An got angry and kicked him in his leg. She asked him if he would ever get some courage, then left him and returned home. The next day, her father prepared breakfast for her. It was clear he loved her and cared for her. He asked her to eat well because exams were close. He told her he did not care. If she got high grades, the most important thing was for her to be happy in her life. An was happy with his words and thanked him. She promised him she would do her best to enter university and make him proud of her. Just then, the house doorbell rang. When she went to open the door, she found San. We learned he was used to going to her every day because he was her neighbor and childhood friend. It seemed there was a hidden love story, but they did not have the courage yet. She went out to go to school with him. They decided to play rock, paper, scissors. The loser would carry the other person's bag all the way there. San won. He said, "Thank God." But An told him she was just a little kid. She left him and ran away. She took the elevator and thought she escaped. When she went down, she found him waiting below. He forced her to carry his bag. He kept annoying her all the way until they reached the school. Because she was slow, he entered before her. The gate closed on her and she had to write her name to be punished and clean the school after finishing. At that time, we saw the gang of bullies kidnapping 2 dating students. They took them to the rooftop and kept beating and bullying them. We learned the girl was named Jessica. He forced her to sit on the ground and asked her boyfriend to take inappropriate photos of her. Unfortunately, he was scared and obeyed. Suddenly, a brave student named Huang arrived. We learned he was one of the bully gang, but he felt guilty and decided to repent. He decided to change and stay away from sins. He He went to help Jessica and her boyfriend and asked them to come with him. He reassured them he would protect them. They believed him and went with him, but the bully got angry because he thought he was better than them. He threatened Jessica that if she left, he would publish her photos and expose her at school. Of course, she was scared of his words and had to return to him humiliated. Wong felt frustrated and knew there was no hope. He left them and went to his classroom. An was happy when she saw him and ran to him. It was clear that she had a crush on him. She asked him to meet her on the rooftop after class. She left him and walked away nervous. She was scared, but she tripped and fell on the stairs. She felt embarrassed because she looked bad in front of him, but when she entered the classroom, she gave San his bag. She sat next to her friend and asked her how to confess her feelings to Huang. Suddenly, the teacher entered. She collected their mobile phones and asked them about their classmate Jin because she had been missing since yesterday. They told her the last thing they remembered was that she was sleeping in the lab. She found it strange and went to ask the science teacher, but he told her that he did not know her whereabouts. Suddenly, the teacher heard a sound in the lab and asked him about it. He said there was nothing. He asked her to leave. She asked him about the sound. He told her it was the mouse he experimented on. He asked her to leave again. She actually left. He locked the door and went to Jin, whom he had tied by her hands because she started turning into a zombie. He gave her an injection to sleep. He recorded the experiments on video. We learned that the mouse that bit her was infected with the zombie virus. When it bit her, it transferred the virus and turned her into a zombie too. Afterwards, the teacher went to the classroom and explained a lesson about parasites. He said that if they controlled them, they would turn them into scary monsters. They would have no mind left, driven only by their appetite to eat. Of course, no one believed him. They were all surprised by his words. They thought he went crazy because his son disappeared. Meanwhile, the pig-like bully student was still writing inappropriate words on Jessica's back because of the photos he took. She felt embarrassed and kept crying because no one helped her. She had to stay silent and endure it because she was afraid he would publish the photos and expose her. At that time, Jin managed to untie herself. Finally, she escaped from the lab while she was on the verge of turning into a zombie completely. She entered the classroom bleeding. She fell on the floor. The teacher was surprised when she saw her and ran to her. She asked her what was wrong and why she disappeared. She told her the science teacher locked her in the lab room and tied her hands. Everyone heard and was shocked by her words. Wong carried her on his back and took her to the clinic. There, the doctor noticed her temperature was low, so she covered her to warm her up. But suddenly, Jin kept making strange noises. She had supernatural strength and tried to bite anyone who came close to her. It was over. She entered the stage of total transformation and became a zombie. The doctor asked all the students to hold her. She gave her an injection to calm her down and called the ambulance to transfer her to the hospital. The one who arrived was An's father because he worked as a paramedic. He went to check on his daughter too and put a medical plaster on her hand because she got hurt when she fell from the stairs. She reassured him and told him she was fine. She left him and returned to the classroom with Wong. On the way, he asked her why she wanted to meet him on the rooftop. At that moment, An seized the opportunity and asked him to go out on a date, and he was surprised. Wong was surprised because he always saw her with San and thought they were dating. He wondered what made her think of him, but she told him that San was her neighbor and childhood friend. At that time, San arrived to check on her, but she felt embarrassed, left him, and walked away. San asked Wong if he had a crush on her. However, he lied to him and told him that even if she was the last girl in the world, it was impossible for him to love her. But the bitter truth was that deep down, he had been dying for her for a long time. It was the love of his life. At that time also, the science teacher returned to the lab and was surprised that Jin escaped and everyone knew his truth. He learned from security that she went to the hospital. He got angry and went to meet the school principal, trying to explain to him that she was dangerous and had to be locked in a room alone. The principal asked him if he was crazy and why they would lock her up since she was a student. But he told him to listen to him because that girl would turn into a zombie soon. Of course, the principal did not believe him. He thought he had kidnapped her because he was a pervert. He called the police to interrogate him. Afterwards, the doctor discovered that the girl named Jin bit her while she was giving her the injection. The virus started to spread in her body too. She kept bleeding from everywhere and turned into a zombie as well. Coincidentally, the bully passed by with his friend and saw her lying on the ground. He decided to film a video of her to post it on the internet, but the doctor sensed them. She attacked the friend and bit him on his neck. She finished him off. The bully got scared of what happened and ran away, not understanding what happened. However, the virus started spreading faster in his friend who got bit too. He entered the classroom and kept attacking anyone he saw, turning them all into zombies. The students got scared and tried to escape from him. The matter already spread. At that time, Jessica, whom the bully filmed against her will, lost hope that anyone would help her. She went up to the roof to jump, but her boyfriend went to her and apologized because he could not protect her. He cried and promised her that he would stand by her side and make the bully delete her photos. Jessica was touched by his words, but she did not want to be a burden on him. She prepared to jump, but suddenly she saw the students who turned into zombies running below. She got scared and changed her mind. Chaos spread everywhere. The number of zombies increased, and they started attacking the rest of the students too. At that time, An was in the restaurant not knowing what was happening outside, living a normal life. She went to talk to San and told him she had a crush on Huang and wished he would help her date him. San was surprised, but he refused because he had loved her for a long time, but did not have the courage to confess to her. He kept staring at her and felt she was slipping from his hands. The romance ended suddenly. The students who turned into zombies arrived and entered. They said, "Let's go." An attack started on anyone they met on their way. An got scared and fell on the ground. The zombie got close to her and was about to bite her, but San saved her at the right time. He took her and they ran away. They hid on top of a table, but they realized that no one would help them anymore. Now they were facing reality. They had to leave and had nothing but the window. They decided to escape from the place through it as fast as possible. At that time, the school principal learned that one of the students called the police and told them there were zombies in the school. Instead of checking on them, he held a meeting for the teachers and asked them what that nonsense was. He shouted at them because he asked them to collect the mobile phones from the students. The most important thing for them was the school's reputation. He asked why they left, the students holding phones. He asked if they were not teachers who cared about the matter. He asked who was responsible for the class. A female teacher told him it was her. He told her she was responsible and had to find out who called the police to punish him. She had to obey him, but when she left the office, she saw one of the students attacking his colleague, trying to bite him on his neck. She told him to stop it and kept approaching him step by step, but she was surprised that he was not a human, but a zombie. She knew the student's words were true. She got scared and tried to escape from him. We returned to our heroes. They managed to escape from the restaurant, but they found a large number of zombies on their way surrounding them. Suddenly, a large truck arrived. We learned its driver turned into a zombie too. He had an accident and the wood fell on the ground. San seized the opportunity. He took An and they climbed on top of the truck. He carried her on his back to reach the window. They entered the second floor of the school and thought they were finally safe since the zombies were below and they were above. However, they were surprised that the number of zombies there was more than below. They attacked San and knocked him to the ground. Luckily, she found a fire extinguisher. She sprayed the zombies so they could not see them. She took San and escaped from the place. They entered their classroom and there they found their colleagues hiding. An was happy when she saw her close friend and hugged her. Suddenly, Huang entered from the window too, along with the class president. They all decided to stay together as one group until they knew how to act. Meanwhile, the policeman took the science teacher to the station to interrogate him because he thought he was crazy and killed his son or something. The teacher decided to tell him everything. We learned he conducted an experiment on a mouse and extracted a substance from it that it uses when in danger to defend itself from cats. My son was suffering from bullying and never defended himself. That is why the only thing that crossed my mind was that surely this substance, if injected into my son, he would also be able to defend himself when in danger. But unfortunately, the matter got completely out of his hands and his son turned into a zombie. When he took him home to try to cure him, his son bit his mother and turned her into a zombie. At that time, the teacher had to finish them both off. Of course, the policeman did not believe his words and decided to imprison him for what he did. Afterwards, the ambulance containing Jin arrived at the hospital. They took her to do an x-ray, but suddenly she started attacking the nurses and doctors. No one was spared from her bite. She turned them into zombies. We returned to our heroes at school. They kept thinking what they would do. By chance, they found a mobile phone in a bag and decided to call the police, but the mobile was locked. San realized its owner turned into a zombie and saw her standing at the door. He got an idea. He grabbed the mobile and pointed it towards her. Indeed, it unlocked with her Face ID. He called the police and told them there were zombies in the school. They told him to cover himself well while sleeping, dear. He told them to believe him and come to the school at this address because there was destruction and ruin. They hung up on him thinking he was pulling a prank, but later they received many calls from all over the city and knew the matter was real. Our heroes felt frustrated because the police might not come. Decided to call the fire department and told them there was a fire at school right now and to save them. Surely they would never say we were liars. Indeed, they believed her and asked her to wait in a safe place. They turned on the alarm and sent many trucks with ladders to save them. But a bully student could not wait any longer. She asked the class president to go out and see if there were still zombies or if they left. The president got angry and told her she never acknowledged her nor listened to her words. So why did she want her to go out now? Was she stupid? She refused and quarreled with her. Suddenly, the math teacher entered and checked if they were okay. He decided to hide with them. He asked if there was space. He said he had a good idea to hide well by putting chairs behind the door. He asked for their opinion, but An looked at him and noticed he was injured. She asked if he wanted them to hide with him while while he was bleeding from his arm. She knew that. He was bitten and would turn into a zombie. Everyone got scared and moved away from him. They asked him nicely to leave the classroom, but he refused, claiming it was just a scratch, and he would not turn. Suddenly, the virus started spreading in his body. He stood up saying he would not turn. Believe me, he fell on the ground and turned into a zombie. He attacked one of the girls and bit her. Unfortunately, she also turned into a zombie. The safe place was no longer safe. Both of them tried to attack the rest of the students. They got scared and had to leave the classroom. Indeed, they did so and locked them inside. If they wanted to live inside, they could live and hide. However, they met a huge number of zombies on their way. A flood was coming at them. They got scared and felt their end was near, but Huang decided to defend them until the last moment. We learned he was a professional in martial arts. He attacked the zombies, taking them one by one. Bam! Take this. Bam! Does it hurt? He hit them and broke their bones and succeeded in defeating a large number of them. A fat student went to help him. He held a door and pushed the zombies with it, keeping them away. The students seized the opportunity, climbed the stairs, and tried to enter the science lab, wanting to hide. However, they were surprised it was locked. The zombies went after them, surrounding them from both sides. On grabbed a water hose and broke the lock with it. They entered the lab. The remaining students succeeded in entering after her. They closed the door at the right time. Now they were safe. The zombies tried to attack them from the windows, but the students stopped them. They put large tables in front of them. They were already besieged. Then, On discovered that the mobile phone she had fell from her while trying to escape. The bully got angry because they would not be able to ask anyone for help. Even the only chance was lost. She yelled at her because she was the reason. But the students quarreled with her to shut up. That was enough. They noticed Huang was not there. They thought he was bitten and felt sad for him. But San reassured them he was strong and could defend himself and handle it. He would come to them. At that time, we saw the bully hiding with a group of students under a table in the restaurant. However, they sensed a zombie approaching them. The bully decided to sacrifice one of them. He threw her to the zombies, telling them to have fun with her. Come on, guys. He was ready to do anything to save himself. At that time, there was a group of students hiding in the bathroom, but one of them felt tired. She started bleeding, and her friend suspected her. She went in to check on her and was surprised that she was bitten on her shoulder. She knew she was infected with the virus and would turn into a zombie within seconds. She locked the bathroom door on her. The girl got angry and promised she would pay her back when she turned. Indeed, the virus started spreading in her body. As soon as she turned, her strength increased. She broke the door and attacked her. Her friend got scared and tried to hit her with a stick, but she could not overpower her. She felt this was her end. Suddenly, a student from the archery team arrived at the right time and saved her. She shot an arrow into the zombie's head and finished her off. Afterwards, the class teacher went to the broadcasting room. She spoke to the students through the loudspeakers, asking them to cooperate with each other. She cried and apologized to them, saying she was sorry she could not help them. She told them they grew up and could defend themselves until the police reached them. The students listened to her words, crying, and decided to be united to escape from the zombies and stay alive. Afterwards, On held her friend's hand to check on her, but she noticed she was cold. She was surprised she was bleeding and knew she was infected with the virus. Indeed, it turned out she was bitten on her leg while escaping. The virus started spreading all over her body. The students got scared and asked her to leave, but On refused and went to hug her. Suddenly, her friend fell to the ground and turned into a zombie. When she got up, she tried to bite her, but San ran to her and pushed her out of the window. On did not want to give up on her and kept holding her hand while crying. She remembered her memories with her and the sweet moments they lived. She was sad because she was her close friend. Unfortunately, her hand slipped against her will and she fell. On could not believe she would not see her again. She sat on the floor, collapsing in tears. San felt sorry for her and tried to console her, but he noticed the zombies were about to enter. They did not have much time left. He told his colleagues they had to escape from the lab as soon as possible. He suggested going down to the broadcasting room below them. They agreed, but did not know how they would do that. San decided to use the water hose. He opened the door and tried to pull it, but the zombies pushed him away. He got an idea then. He took a doll's arm from the cupboard and used it to pull the hose and succeeded in grabbing it. Then he used it as a rope and threw it from the window. He asked his friend to go down. Indeed, he did so until he reached the broadcasting room. The teacher saw him open the window for him and let him in. The students were happy. The rest decided to go down after him. They kept doing that, one after another. No one was left except our heroes. An was still shocked by the death of her friend, but San talked to her, trying to encourage her. He persuaded her to stay alive because her father loved her and was waiting for her to return to him. She was touched by his words and indeed went down. San kept holding the rope until she arrived, but when his turn came, the zombies entered. He had to fly out of the window quickly. He succeeded in grabbing the rope at the last moment. That player did an action scene like John Cena, but unfortunately, one of the zombies hung onto his legs, wanting to bite. She told him, "Give me a piece, boy." He tried again to push her, but she was stronger than him and kept holding him. Luckily, Huang was standing on the fence and saw him. He decided to help him. He jumped towards him and knocked the zombie down at the right time. Both of them entered the broadcasting room and closed the window. The students were happy they were still alive. The teacher asked them to stay together. They opened the computer to know what was happening outside in the country, but they were surprised that the virus spread in the city and the zombies became numerous. Suddenly, the window broke and a zombie tried to enter. The students got scared. San kept hitting him with the stick, but the zombie neither moved nor was affected. His friend had to grab the computer monitor and threw it at the stupid zombie. He actually succeeded in knocking him out of the window and also broke the device. However, the bully girl noticed he was bleeding from his nose. She told them he was bitten by the zombie and asked them to take him out of the room. He tried to defend himself, telling them it was just a simple scratch. Indeed, the teacher confirmed to them he was fine and not infected with the infection, but the bully girl did not believe it. She suggested locking him in a room alone for half an hour to check if he would turn or not. The student felt humiliated and decided to listen to her. Indeed, he entered a room alone and kept waiting to see what would happen. At that time, the bully student was still hiding in the kitchen, but the zombies started entering. They tried to bite him, saying, "Give me a piece, boy." But he was a pig. He told them he would not leave them even a quarter of a piece of him. He sacrificed anyone in his way to stay alive to the point that he pushed the workers. He hid in their place, grabbed a knife, and decided to defend himself. He attacked the workers who turned into a zombie and took them out one by one. Bam, take this. Bam, does it hurt? Afterwards, San's mother saw the news on TV and learned that a strange disease spread in the world and students turned into zombies. She feared for her son. She tried calling him, but he did not answer. She was confused and did not know what to do. Of course, she could not leave him. She decided to save him. She left the restaurant, rode the motorcycle, and ran to check on him. But when she arrived, she found the police there preventing her from entering. However, she did not give up. She decided to look for any other way. "I must reach my son." She saw a student carrying a baby and escaping with him. She tried to go after her, but she tripped and fell on the ground. The zombies heard her and started chasing her. She got scared and had to leave the motorcycle and ran on her feet. Meanwhile, an hour had passed and the student was still locked in the room. San entered to check on him. After all, he was his friend and it was a simple scratch. He confirmed he was not infected with the virus and asked him to leave. But he was sad because they doubted him and refused to leave. He told them, "Leave me alone. I want to stay here." However, the teacher entered to talk to him. She told him, "Son, you are fine." She knew he was not bitten and everything was fine. The students felt guilty because they locked him up. They asked the bully girl to go in and apologize to him herself, since she was the reason. Indeed, she agreed and decided to go into him. She held his hands and pretended to apologize to him, but she kept insulting him, calling him a beggar because he entered the school on a scholarship. That sly girl had a devilish plan. She put zombie blood on the scratch to transmit the virus to him. San's friend got angry and fought with her, but the students stopped him. Suddenly, his appearance started to change. He bled from his nose. They were surprised and knew he would turn into a zombie. They asked him to leave the room. The student kept crying, telling them they were his friends and he would never bite them. He decided to leave by himself, but the virus had already spread in his body. He fell on the ground and unfortunately turned into a zombie. He tried to attack them. The students got scared and moved away from him. San had to act. He stood in front of the window, calling his friend, saying, "Come here." As soon as he got close to him, he pushed him and threw him out of the window. He did that while his heart was breaking. He kept looking at him, crying. He was his close friend, but we are in a time where everyone must try to live by any means. At that time, we saw the student carrying a baby and learned she was pregnant and just gave birth. She tried to escape, but unfortunately, she was bitten by zombies and would turn. She entered San's mother's restaurant. She left the baby there and tied herself up so when she turned, she would not bite her son. The virus started spreading in her body. She turned into a zombie, but she could not reach the baby. At that time, On's father was on a dangerous mission. He was asked to save the minister, who was besieged by zombies. He wanted to leave her and go help his daughter, the most important thing. But the minister refused and asked him to stay with her until her plane arrived. The father was confused about what to do. His daughter was in danger, and he could not make a decision. But he decided to complete his mission because it was his job. We return to our heroes. Everyone was sad and crying for their friend who turned because he was kind. But the bully girl was the only one happy that she was the reason for his transformation. She told them she was right all along and she was the reason. She asked them to thank her, but the class president got angry at her words and decided to confront her with the truth. She told her, "Regarding all what you did, I saw you taking the zombie blood with the tissue and then wiping the student's hand with it so he would get infected with the virus and turn." The students were surprised by her words because that meant she was the reason for his death. They asked her if she did that. The bully girl got nervous and tried to deny it, but the class president slapped her. She asked her to put the tissue on her hand if she was innocent. The bully girl got scared. She was about to do it, but the teacher stopped her and took the tissue from her. "Enough is enough. I do not want anyone else to turn." The bully girl collapsed and confessed what she did. San got angry because the student was his close friend. He hit her and knocked her to the ground. He let her know she was a criminal and he would never forgive her. The bully girl felt guilty and could not bear the students' looks at her. She cried and told them she hated them. She opened the door and left. The teacher was sad about her words. She stood in front of the door and asked them to stay alive until she returned. She went out after her to save her. At that time, news of the zombies started spreading everywhere. People became curious to know what was happening in the school and how their children were doing. A crazy YouTuber decided to go live while in the street. He kept filming the zombies right and left while they were chasing him. "Come on, guys. If you tapped and reached 10 million taps, I would show you the zombie biting me now." But he felt tired and feared the zombies would catch him. He decided to enter the nursery to hide there. He thought he was finally safe, but he was surprised that the children there turned into zombies too. They surrounded him and attacked him, the crazy YouTuber, by the zombie children. At the same time, San's mother entered the school, creeping tiptoe, until she saw his friend. She was happy and called him. He looked at her, and she was surprised he turned into a zombie. She told him, "Never mind, look ahead again. I am sorry, I swear." But unfortunately, he bit her and turned her. Afterwards, San stood in front of the window, still affected by his friend's death. An tried to comfort him, telling him she felt for him because her friend died too. The students were worried about their teacher. They wished she was okay and still alive. One of them suggested going out to look for her, but the class president refused categorically. She told them she asked us to stay hidden. She let them know that they had another problem. They wanted to go to the bathroom. I am dying to go. But they were scared to go out because of the zombies. An remembered something she learned from her father. She broke the table and made a bathroom for them in the room. The students and everyone admired her intelligence. They thanked her and agreed to stay together until the rescue team or the police arrived tomorrow to save their lives. Afterwards, the bully went out of the kitchen. He kept sneaking until he reached the playground. He found a bicycle in front of him and decided to ride it to escape from the school. But the zombies sensed him then and chased him. They were about to catch him, but he got scared and threw the bicycle. He ran until he entered the principal's office. He finished off a large number of zombies and decided to stay hidden inside. At that time, the science teacher was still at the police station. The detective told him that he was the reason for everything happening in the world. He asked him why he did that, but the teacher laughed and did not feel guilty. He told him, "I did that to protect my son from bullying, because when he complained to the school, no one helped him. That is why they all deserve to die." The detective got angry and was about to hit him, but he retracted his words. He knew he wanted to change the world, but now he would be the cause of everyone's death. He asked him, "Did you reach a cure for the virus?" He told the teacher that the only solution was on his device in the science lab. I want you, dear viewer, to remember what happened to his device. Or is that not what we will know yet? The detective decided to take him and go get it, but when they went out, they were surprised that the zombies entered the place. They started attacking everyone present. The detective tried to fight them, but they surrounded him and were about to bite him. The teacher felt guilty. He ran and saved him, getting bitten instead. He asked him to go to the lab while he held them off. He sacrificed himself and stopped the zombies. The detective was touched and had to leave him and escaped. When he went out, he found all his colleagues turned into zombies except for a policeman who was locked up. He went to help him and decided to take him to the school. The next day, the students woke up and looked from the window. They saw planes in the sky. Hope returned to them that someone might come to save them. An suggested making a rescue signal to let them know they were still alive. Everyone agreed to the idea, but they needed a mobile phone. San remembered their teacher collected their mobile phones and put them in the library. He decided to risk his life and go to get them. At that time, Jessica's boyfriend, who was on the roof, told her that the bully had set an automatic posting time for her photos at Blat. Jessica was surprised. She blamed him for hiding something like that from her, but he apologized to her and let her know he intended to pay him money to stop the posting. She told him, after what? Jessica decided to go look for the mobile in the library to break it before he published her photos. She asked him to come with her, but her boyfriend refused because he was scared of zombies. She got angry and called him a coward. She decided to go alone. She left him and walked away. Afterwards, San stood on the window and prepared to go to the library, but the students feared for him. Huang decided to go to help him. They kept walking on the fence until they reached the library window. They saw Jessica trying to run from the zombies, but unfortunately they attacked her and threw her. San thought she turned into a zombie and felt sorry for her. He left her and continued his way. But the surprise was that after she was bitten, she did not turn and became half human and half zombie. She walked among them without them attacking her. Jessica was surprised and did not understand what was happening to her, but she seized the opportunity and entered the library. She started breaking all the mobile phones in front of her. San arrived and saw her. He was surprised by her behavior, but he was scared of her appearance. appearance. He noticed a mobile phone fell from her. He tried to take it quietly, but she sensed him. She got angry and attacked him to take it from him, but Huang hit her and pushed her away from him at the right time. However, because of this loud noise, the zombies entered. Our heroes had to separate from each other. Huang went out of the window and San escaped through the door. At that time, we saw On's father trying to hold off the zombies to save the minister. He grabbed a water hose and kept spraying them. The minister succeeded in getting up to the building's roof. The plane arrived for rescue and took them. On's father decided to go save his daughter. He already did his mission and duty, and now it was time for the duty of family. Afterward, we saw the bully hiding in the office. He gave the principal his car key and asked him, saying, "Go get it," so we both escape. What do you think? The bully refused. He wanted to take him with him to use him as a shield, only for himself. The principal got scared of his words and tried to escape, but the bully hit him and decided to tie him with a rope. Suddenly, San entered and saw him. He filmed him with the mobile and threatened him to stay away or he would expose him. But the bully did not care about a word. He told him, "Son, we are at the end of the world. Everything you are doing is useless. I am the leader of the school now. Do what you want." He finished off the principal right before his eyes and approached him to take the mobile from him, but San pushed him and escaped. The bully kept running after him and tried to throw a knife at him, but it missed him. At that time, the students hiding in the bathroom decided to leave as, well, they kept killing the zombies in their way. The archer girl succeeded in defeating a large number of them, but she did not want to escape from the school. She decided to look for her brother first. Afterward, Huang returned to his colleagues in the broadcasting room. He told them what happened to him and said that he and San got separated. On was surprised and worried about him. She kept standing in front of the window, wishing to see him waiting for him, but Huang reassured her that he would be fine. He asked her to trust him. We saw at that time San trying to escape from the zombies. He entered the library. There he found a student hiding on top of the bookshelf. He went up to sit next to him, asking him how it was going, but the student got scared. He thought he was infected with the virus and pushed him to the floor. Afterward, the bully arrived and pushed that student towards the zombies. He finished him off. As you condemn, you will be condemned. He ran after San to take the mobile from him and caught him. He kept fighting with him, hitting him and threatening him to hand over the mobile or he would throw him to the zombies. But San refused and hid it from him. The bully got angry and decided to finish him off. He grabbed him by his neck and kept strangling him with all his strength. Our hero felt dizzy and felt his end was near. He gave him a punch right in his eye. He gouged it out and threw him to the zombies. Indeed, they gathered around him. It seemed we were finished with the bully, or were we? He kept crying and asking him to help him before he died. He kept calling out to him and promised that when he turned, he would look for him and take revenge on him first. But San did not care about his words and tried to escape from the place, but he tripped on the cupboard and books fell on him. The zombies heard him and approached him, but he threw books at them one after another. He went out of the library and locked the door on them. He was surprised there were zombies outside. He had to escape from them and entered the ventilation shaft. He stood on the pipes trying to use the mobile to ask for help from the police, but he was surprised there was no signal or internet. He felt frustrated because everything he did was in vain. He learned the army cut off the internet so no one would spread false rumors in the city. At that time, An was worried about him and feared he was bitten by zombies. Wang tried to reassure her, telling her San was brave and fast, but she remembered there was a drone in the science lab. She told the students if they brought it, they could use it to find San's location. Everyone was convinced by the idea, but they were scared and worried because the lab had millions of zombies. An decided to go herself. The students admired her courage. Her nerd colleague decided to go with her because he was the one who made the drone and knew how to operate it. Wang was afraid for her and wanted to go instead of her, but she refused and told him he risked his life enough. It was her turn. She went out with the nerd from the window. They went up to the lab using the rope. At that time, the detective and the policeman were on their way to school, but they met a large number of zombies. They tried to escape from them. They kept running until they entered San's mother's restaurant and hid there. However, they saw the student who tied herself and turned into a zombie. They heard the baby's voice and knew it was her daughter. They were touched that she did that to protect her. They felt sorry for them. The detective decided to keep her as if she were his daughter. Afterwards, San tried to get out of the ventilation shaft, but he heard the voice of the zombies standing outside. He lost hope and was about to let them bite him, but he remembered his memories with An. He was afraid to leave her alone in this time. He decided to stay alive to go protect her. Since life did not matter, he would sacrifice it for his love. He had to confess his love to her. He gathered his courage and kept climbing until he got out. He ran from the zombies and succeeded in entering the art room. He found it empty. He hid inside. At that time, An and the nerd arrived at the science lab and found the drone. They took it and returned to their friends quickly. The nerd succeeded in turning it on and flew it to the classrooms to see who was still alive and who was not. He was surprised that all the students turned into zombies. However, they did not lose hope. They kept looking for San until they found him hiding in the art room. An was happy he was fine and hugged Wang. He noticed the drone was about to run out of battery, and they decided to see what was happening outside the school to know if anyone would save them or not. Indeed, they did so, and were surprised that chaos spread everywhere. Coincidentally, one of their colleagues saw her father's car had an accident. She asked the nerd to bring the drone closer to them, but she was shocked. They all died and turned into zombies. She collapsed from grief over them. She kept crying because she would not see her family again. Unfortunately, one of the zombies saw the drone and hit it with his hands, breaking it because it was close to him. The students knew that no one would save them, and they felt frustrated. At that time, An's father and the minister got off the plane and were taken by the army to a safe camp. The father told them he wanted to go save his daughter from the school, but the guards prevented him because they were afraid he was bitten by zombies. They locked him in a room until they made sure. Afterward, the bully woke up in the library surprised that he was still alive. How did he not turn into a zombie? He did not understand what happened to him. It seemed the same thing happened to him as what happened with Jessica exactly. Suddenly, the zombies approached him, but they did not attack him. They considered him one of them because he became half human and half zombie. He stood in front of the mirror and knew that he was special. He was happy walking among the zombies confidently. He remembered what San did to him and decided to look for him to take revenge on him. Afterward, the girl who saw her parents die lost hope in life. She stood at the window deciding to jump, but her colleagues caught her at the right time. She sat on the floor crying and collapsing. She told them it was over and there was no thing to live for. They felt sorry for her. An tried to comfort her and told her that her father was on a dangerous mission and might have died too. But did that mean she should die too? She asked her to hold on to life and try to get out of there, alive. Coincidentally, she stepped on the loudspeakers and the class president heard it. She got an idea to save San and get out of the school. She gathered the students and told them that zombies move towards sound. She suggested they play music in a place far from them. Then all the zombies would go towards there and they could leave the room and move freely. Everyone admired her intelligence and agreed to her plan. They started executing it. The first thing they did was speak to San over the loudspeakers, asking him to stay where he was, and they would come to help him. Indeed, he heard them, but he feared for them. An decided to talk to him, asking him to trust her and promise she would save him. He was happy with her words and decided to wait for her. Afterward, they put a music CD and played it loudly through the loudspeakers. The plan succeeded. The zombies moved towards the sounds, but the bully also heard them and knew they were in the broadcasting room. He grabbed the knife and decided to go take revenge on San. At the same time, the students knew that the zombies standing outside left except for one because he was trapped. They decided to move past him quietly. Indeed, they did so, and everything was going fine according to the plan. But the nerd dropped something on the floor. The zombie heard it and sensed them. He started chasing them. The students got scared and ran away from him. Huang had to kill him to stop him. He attacked him and knocked him to the ground. He approached him, wanting to bite him, and luckily the bully arrived at the right time and saved him. He hit the zombie and finished him off. Afterward, he asked him about San's location because he wanted revenge, but Huang refused to tell him. The bully got angry, fought with him, and Huang used his skills trying to hit him, but he was surprised he was not affected because he became half zombie. The bully laughed and approached him to finish him off, but the class president came from behind him trying to choke him. However, he bit her hand. Huang got angry and pushed him out of the window, dropping him from the third floor. He checked on her, took her, and went to their friends. The group gathered in the art room. San was happy when he saw them and hugged him on thanking her because she risked her life to save him. They closed the curtains so the zombies would not see them. They thought they were safe, but they were surprised that the class president was bitten and bleeding. They were scared of her. At that time, An's father tried to leave the camp to go to his daughter, but the guards prevented him. They let him know he would stay in quarantine for a week, but he got angry, hit them all, and hijacked one of them and decided to take his uniform. He went to save his daughter from school. The minister tried to stop him, but he told her she was a mother, and surely she felt for him. She was touched by his words and allowed him to leave. She asked him to return. He promised her he would return again and thanked her. The father and his friend disguised themselves in guards' clothes, took their weapons, and went out. Afterward, the students were afraid of the class president. They thought she would turn into a zombie and asked her to leave, but Huang refused and defended her. He told them she was not infected with the virus because the bully was the one who bit her. San was surprised because he thought he died and did not believe his words. The president was afraid they would fight because of her. She decided to leave by herself, but Huang stopped her, held her hand, and took her to stand by the window. He swore that if she turned, he would push her himself. The president agreed. She sat on the window and promised them she would jump herself if that happened. Time passed. Suddenly, she felt dizzy and got close to Huang to sleep on his shoulder, but they thought she turned and wanted to bite him. San tried again to push her, but Huang stopped him and fought with him. An went to stand in front of her and defended her. She let them know she did not turn. To prove her words, she told them her temperature was normal. Unlike her friend when she turned, she guessed she became half human and half zombie. The students were surprised by her words and believed her, but one of them remained scared. Wang decided to tie his hand with the president to reassure her. He told them if she turned, she would bite him first. Everyone was surprised by his behavior and knew he had a crush on her. She felt jealous because she loved him. Afterward, the detective decided to take the baby girl he found in the restaurant and hid her in his clothes. He wore a helmet and went out with the policeman, his colleague. They rode a motorcycle getting ready to leave, but suddenly they saw a little girl running from zombies. They saved her and entered the restaurant again. The detective went to check on her, but she kept crying and pointing at the zombie. He knew that. Her mother turned. He hugged her to comfort her. We returned again to the students. They started feeling hungry and thirsty because it had been a long time at school. The bully girl heard them because she was hiding in the storage room. She had a lot of food and juice. She decided to open for them, but she heard them talking about her, saying she was evil. She got angry and changed her mind. One of the students tried to break the storage door, but the zombie outside heard him, so he feared they would know his location and had to stop what he was doing. Afterward, one of the students held the camera and recorded a video saying goodbye to her family while she was crying, so they would see it if something happened to her. Her colleagues liked the idea and decided to do so as well. They all cried because they were still young. They wished to get married. They wished to make likes and subscribe to the Movies Room channel. They wished to follow all the summaries that would be released one by one. Now we will not be able to listen to summaries. We will not be able to follow the second parts. We will not be able to watch anything Movies Room makes. He promised us before that he would make a gaming channel and play PUBG, but he has not done it yet. But he intended to do it and we were waiting. We will not watch him playing PUBG. Do you see, dear viewer, how they are all touched and crying, dear viewer, and sad for their situation? If you are sad for them, dear viewer, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like, activate the notification bell, and wait for me, God willing, on the channel that is pinned in the first comment, because I will start uploading my long videos playing PUBG on it. The surprise is that, God willing, there will be a lot of summary YouTubers playing with me. So, guess who? Let's go to On Whose Turn Came to Cry a Bit. She told her mother, "I am confident you will come and save me." At that time, her father jumped over the camp fence, but he refused to throw a rope to his friend. He feared for him and did not want him to expose his life to danger. "I am going to save my daughter. What are you coming to do?" He apologized to him and walked away, but one of the guards saw him and asked him where he was going. The father had to hit him and ran until he reached the beach. He went into the water. The guards kept shooting at him with weapons. Unfortunately, he got injured, but he endured for the sake of reaching his daughter. He succeeded in escaping from. Finally, after all the events, the special forces appeared with us while they were fighting the zombies. They finished off a large number of them. They saved most of the people who were still alive, but unfortunately, one of those soldiers got bitten and infected with the virus. They decided to take him to conduct experiments on him, trying to cure him. Meanwhile, the class president appeared recording a video for her family because she was afraid of turning into a zombie. When she finished, she thanked Wang for helping her and asked him why he did all that even though she was unfortunately evil. Wang got nervous then and finally confessed to her his true feelings. He had a crush on her for a long time. The president was surprised and told him she loved him too. Oh, finally, the lovebirds united. They kept holding hands. Afterward, Jess, who had turned into a half zombie, heard a sound in the clinic. When she entered, she found one of the teachers hiding there. He got scared of her appearance, but she reassured him, saying she was not quite a zombie. Suddenly, she felt hungry and went to the fish tank and started eating from it. The teacher was terrified of her and knew she was infected with the virus and had already turned into a zombie. He approached her and hit her on her head to finish her off, but she was not affected. She got angry and reminded him that she told him more than once that she was being bullied. "I told you my story and asked you to save me, but you refused to help me." She attacked him and bit him on his neck. The teacher kept screaming. The class president heard it and tried to tell her colleagues, but none of them heard anything. They were scared of her. The president noticed that. Her sense of hearing became stronger, as if she acquired superpowers to the point that she heard their heartbeats. Thump thump, the sound of their breath, because she became half zombie. She knew that a large number of zombies were close to the place. She let them know they were in danger and had to leave there as soon as possible. Indeed, they would listen to her words. They already trusted her. At that time, we saw the bully washing his face, but he heard the sound of someone crying. He saw one of his gang hiding under a car. He pretended he wanted to help him and went to hide with him. He replied to him that they should cooperate to escape from the place. His friend believed him and agreed, but when they went out, the bully kept laughing. He pressed on his hands with all his strength. His friend could not bear the pain and screamed. Because of that, the zombies heard him, attacked him, and bit him. The bully stood in front of the mirror, deciding to take revenge on San because he ruined his eyes. Afterward, the students thought of a plan to get out of the place. They agreed to play loud music to attract the zombies and escape through the back door. On went to untie the class president to help them. She said she trusted her. The president was happy with her words and promised to protect them. They all started cooperating to execute the plan. They put tables and chairs in the middle to make a barrier protecting them from the zombies when they entered. At the same time, the archer was walking with those with her. They decided to leave the school by any means because her arrows were about to run out, but they found a fat student injured. They decided to help him. They put him on a table to take him with them and leave the school, but they were surprised that the number of zombies was large and they could not defeat them. They got scared and had to return to hide again in their place. Afterward, the detective also decided to escape from the restaurant where he was trapped with the child. He wrapped cardboard on the child's hand to protect her from bites if the zombies tried to attack them. The policeman, his colleague, was scared and suggested leaving her in the restaurant because she would slow them down, but the detective refused to abandon her. He insisted on taking her with him. They rode their motorcycle and ran. They managed to escape from the place safely, and the zombies could not catch them. While they were on the way, they saw the YouTuber, our friend, trapped on the roof. He told them, "Help me, please. I am injured in my leg." The detective felt sorry for him, so he decided to help him. But the policeman got scared of the zombies, left him, and escaped on the motorcycle, telling him, "Man, you will delay me a lot." At the same time, the students started executing their plan. They hid behind the barrier they made and opened the door. They kept making noise to attract the zombies towards them. Indeed, the zombies entered the place, but their number was large and they were about to break the barrier. The students had to endure until they all gathered. They seized the opportunity, went out the back door, and ran up the stairs until they reached the school roof. However, they were surprised that the door was locked. They tried to break it but did not know how. Jessica's boyfriend was standing behind Sakui the door and heard them, but he remembered that none of them helped Jessica when the bully filmed her. He changed his mind and decided to let them all turn into zombies to take revenge on them. Oh, you pig. At that time, the minister spoke with the army commander, asking him to go to the school to save the students who were there at any cost. The commander agreed and told them he would handle it. He ordered his soldiers to send a helicopter to the school to transport the students who were still alive. Indeed, the soldiers executed the order and did so. The helicopter landed on the school roof. They found Jessica's boyfriend standing alone. They tested him and confirmed he was not bitten by zombies. They asked him, "Is anyone else of your colleagues alive?" He lied to them, telling them all the students in the school were infected with the virus and turned into zombies. Unfortunately, the innocent soldiers believed him. They took him with them in the helicopter and left. At that time, the students felt frustrated. They decided to kill the zombies on the stairs. They defeated a large number of them, but the bully, he knew their location. He approached San laughing and decided to take revenge on him for what he did. San was shocked when he saw him. He tried to hit him, but he was not affected. The bully laughed and attacked him to gouge out his eyes. He wanted an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but the class president defended him. She grabbed the bully, choked him with all her strength, and threw him far away. He was stupid and did not know that. She also became a half zombie like him. At that time, Jessica was walking in the school looking at the students who used to bully her. Those were the zombies that turned. She was happy because they deserved what happened to them. She went to the storage, started pouring gasoline in the place, and decided to set fire to the school to forget what happened to her there. She wanted to erase her memories. The fire spread everywhere. Because of that, the fire alarms went off and the roof door opened. The students seized the opportunity and entered quickly. They saw the helicopter in the air and kept calling out to it, but unfortunately, the soldiers did not hear them. The students were sad and kept crying. The bully tried to break the door of the roof to enter after them, but he could not because it was made of iron. He decided to go down and look for another way. San went at that time to talk to Huang. They were surprised that the bully refused to die. They remembered that the same thing happened to Jessica. They knew that surely there were people who turned into full zombies and people who turned into half zombies like the class president. They were reassured she was with them, on their side to protect them. They decided to make a distress signal. They cooperated with the rest of the students and gathered the chairs and tables on the roof, placing them next to each other until they succeeded. Afterward, the detective saved the YouTuber from the roof and bandaged his injured leg. Then he hit him and blamed him for exposing his life to danger, and the YouTuber apologized to him. He told him to consider him dirt under his feet, but to save him, begging him to save him from the zombies. The detective agreed and made a plan with him. He started throwing things on the ground to keep the zombies away from them, but suddenly, his colleague the policeman arrived with a big bus. The one we said abandoned him turned out to be going to protect him. The detective was happy and said that boy had a noble streak and would never leave him. He took the YouTuber and they climbed on top of the bus and escaped from the place. Suddenly, while they were driving, they hit Jessica, who was riding a bicycle. The detective went down to check on this girl and was surprised she was still alive. He decided to take her with them, but suddenly the special forces arrived at the place. They shot at them, but when they confirmed they were humans, they went to help them. At the same time, the students decided to light a fire to warm themselves. They tried many ways, but could not do it. They felt frustrated frustrated and gave up, but they were surprised that the class president had a lighter. They got angry because she was hiding it. They used it and sat next to each other. They kept singing to pass the time. The bully girl heard them. She left the storage room and found the camera they filmed with and watched their videos. She knew they were hungry and felt sorry for them. She remembered what happened to her while escaping from the zombies. We learned that her teacher saved her at the right time and was bitten in her place. But before she turned, she asked her to help her friends. The bully girl woke up from her memories and decided to fix her mistake. She took all the food, juice and drinks and anything found in the storage room, anything that could help the students. She went out to go to the roof, but she met the bully face to face. He was happy when he saw her and told her he was hungry. He approached her and bit her neck, the pig, and turned her. "I thought you wanted food, you pig." Afterward, the students gathered around the fire and everyone started saying what they wished for. The class president told them that all her life she was lonely. She thanked them because they became her friends. When it was San's turn, he gathered his courage and decided to confess his feelings too. He told Dad that he had a crush on her, and not just from now, but from the day he saw her when he was a child, small. On was surprised because they were raised together like siblings. She thought he was joking, but he said that he was speaking seriously and she was the love of his life. On felt embarrassed, left them, and went to stand alone. San tried to talk to her, but she was crying. She asked him to let her think. Suddenly, the bully used the pipes and climbed to the roof. On got scared when she saw him. San ran to save her from him, but the bully had supernatural strength. He attacked him and knocked him to the ground. He wanted to gouge out his eyes to take revenge on him. On tried to stop him, but he pushed her with his hands and threw her far away. Luckily, Huang pushed him away from him and used his boxing skills. But the bully was not affected either, even if he was weak. He had strength now. He hit him and knocked him to the ground. The students were scared of him. The bully started giving them a chance. He told them to hand San over to him and he would allow them to escape from the place, but they all refused. They attacked him together, trying to hold him, but he kept hitting them one after another, sending them all flying. The class president got angry and decided to fight him because she was the only one who could defeat him and stand up to him. She attacked him and a violent battle happened between them. It was a crushing fight. She broke his arm and succeeded in hitting him and throwing him from the top of the roof. Wang was impressed by her strength. He went to check on her and thanked her, but unfortunately, we knew that the bully would not die. He healed his injury and decided to look for another way to increase his strength and take revenge on them all. Meanwhile, the army took the detective to the camp. There, he told them everything about the virus and told them the science teacher was the one who created it. He let them know that its cure was on the laptop at the school. The army commander was surprised and decided to send soldiers to get it. Afterward, Jessica also met her boyfriend. He was happy she was still alive and apologized to her for abandoning her, but he noticed she was not acting normal. He asked her what happened to her. Jessica told him she set fire to the school. Suddenly, she felt hungry and approached him. She told him she wanted to eat him. Do not be surprised, dear viewer. At that time, the students thanked the class president because she defended them. She was happy with their words, but suddenly, she heard the sound of a plane approaching. They found it strange because they did not hear anything. But afterwards, the plane actually appeared in the sky. They kept waving and calling out to it loudly until the soldiers noticed and landed on the roof. They decided to examine them first to make sure they were not infected with the virus. Indeed, they knew they were still humans, but they noticed the class president was the only one with low temperature. They thought she was sick and covered her with a blanket. They asked them to wait on the roof until they finished the mission. They entered the lab, finished off all the zombies there, and took the teacher's laptop. The army commander was happy the mission succeeded. He asked them to save the students and leave, but suddenly one of the soldiers entered and told him there was a zombie in the camp. The commander was surprised and reviewed the surveillance cameras. He saw Jessica biting her boyfriend. He knew she was an evolved type of zombie that showed no symptoms of transformation. He ordered the soldiers to leave the students at the school because he was afraid one of them was infected with the virus too and would endanger the rest. The soldiers had to obey him. They made the students get off the plane again one after another. They threatened them that if anyone tried to get on with them again, they would kill them. Oh, dear viewer, they were betrayed. He apologized to them, left them, and flew away. The students felt frustrated that they were abandoned and knew that no one would come to save them anymore. San lost hope and broke the distress signal they made while crying. Afterward, the army commander went to interrogate the minister and asked her why she helped On's father escape from the camp. The minister told him she did that because he saved her life and she wanted to return the favor. She let them know his daughter was trapped in the school and he had to go save her. If she could go back in time, she would do it again because she was a mother and felt for him. At that time, we saw On's father running in the streets from the zombies. He met a stranger who asked him to help him and took him to his wife. He learned she was pregnant and trapped in the car, but the father told him he could not help him because he was in a hurry. He gave him a weapon and food and water. He asked him to stay alive until the army arrived to save him. He apologized to him and left. Afterward, a strong storm occurred and it started raining. The students were happy because they were thirsty. They kept drinking while crying. Their situation became difficult. They found neither food nor water. As much as it rained, they were happy with the little water falling down. San noticed that the class president was in pain because of the thunder sound. He knew that the zombies were also feeling weak now. He suggested they seize the opportunity and escape from the school. The students were scared, but they had to agree because no one would come to save them. They started executing the plan. They went down from the roof holding each other's hands. Indeed, they passed by the zombies who did not sense them. They kept walking until they reached the schoolyard. There, San saw his mother and was surprised she was there, turned into a zombie. Since when and how did this happen? He remained shocked. He did not know she died. Suddenly, the fat student attacked her and hit her with an iron bar. San got angry and went to push him away from her. He stood in front of her and said she was his mother. He tried to talk to her, but of course she did not understand him. Everyone was touched by his state and sympathized with him. They asked him to come with them because the zombies were getting close. San had to listen to them. He left her and walked away with tears in his eyes, crying. He remembered his memories with her and how affectionate she was with him and cared for him. He apologized to her that he was not able. Save her. The students kept escaping until they reached the forest, but one of them tripped and fell on the ground. She asked her close friend to help her, but friend abandoned her. She left her and ran away. The nerd student had to go back to her. He held her hand to reassure her, but because of that, the zombies surrounded them. They felt that this was their end. Luckily, the archer finally appeared. She arrived at the right time and shot at the zombies, saving them because the nerd was her brother. He was happy when he saw her and could not believe she was still alive. We saw the girl who refused to help her friend running in the forest, but she fell into the lake. The zombies attacked and bit her. You reap what you sow. Afterward, the rest of the students went to the gym to hide, but they were surprised there were many zombies inside. They had to enter the storage room. There, the fat student went to talk to San and apologized for hitting his mother, but San could not bear it, and collapsed in tears. An felt sorry for him. She tried to console him, told him she was by his side, and hugged him to comfort him. They decided to spend the night in the storage room. Meanwhile, the army commander opened the laptop of the science teacher. He watched the video, but was surprised that there was no cure for the virus. He knew the only solution to prevent its spread was to burn anyone who turned into a zombie. The army commander decided to do that. That was the new decision he would follow. He ordered his soldiers to prepare bombs and explosives to destroy the city, which contained the school because it was the cause of the zombie virus spread. They had to contain the matter within a city instead of it spreading to the whole world. The next day, the students woke up. An noticed that San stayed up all night thinking. She asked him not to give up. She let him know that when they got out of there, she would answer him if she agreed to date him or not. He was happy that at least she would think about it. He promised her he would protect her, help her, and love her. He would make her the happiest person. At that time, her father reached the forest next to the school. He marked signs on the trees to know the way back, but while walking, he got hit on his head and was injured. Although he was in pain, he did not give up. He decided to continue to save his daughter. Afterward, the fat student went to talk to the archer and confessed to her that he had a crush on her. Anyway, the end of the world seemed near, so he wanted to at least tell her he loved her. He told her he always cheered for her in championships. He asked her that if they got out of there alive, she would give him a chance and date him. Everyone admired his courage and words. They asked her to accept him, but she was serious and got angry because the time was not right. She ran after him to hit him. He got scared and told her to pretend he said nothing. While he was hiding, a cart moved. Suddenly, Huang got an idea to escape with it. He suggested they use the moving carts to get out of the place. Everyone was convinced by the idea. They started gathering the carts and placing them next to each other, but they were confused about how to use them for escaping. There was a student who wanted to keep them open so they could walk inside them, but a girl older than him told him that the zombies would attack them that way. They argued about the ideas. The class president decided to take a vote. The students started giving their opinions. The majority chose the first idea and they decided to execute it. Coincidentally, San found a piece of chocolate and was happy because they were hungry. Everyone took a tiny piece until the turn came to the fat student. However, he took a slightly big piece and felt embarrassed. He apologized to them because he did not mean it. Afterward, they started wearing protective armor to protect themselves from zombie attacks. They held sticks to defend themselves. They prepared to go out. They opened the door and hid behind the moving carts, trying to walk with them to escape from the school. Everything was going fine, but suddenly the zombies' numbers increased. They climbed on top of the carts and attacked them to bite them. The students tried to keep them away. The archer kept shooting at them, but unfortunately, the student who had the idea was bitten on his hand. Oh my. The owner of the idea had a bad idea too. He felt guilty because he was the reason for what happened. He decided to sacrifice himself to hold off the zombies. He apologized to them, stepped out of the carts, and kept hitting the zombies to keep them away so they could escape. He asked his colleagues to leave him and go. He was crying, and the last thing he said was that he loved them. Unfortunately, unfortunately, the zombies gathered around him, biting his neck and hands. The students collapsed from what happened, but they had to continue their way. They kept walking until they reached the exit door, but they were surprised. It was locked from the outside. They lost hope and felt this was their end, but An did not give up. She kept knocking on the door. Suddenly, someone opened it for her. She was surprised it was her father. She ran to him, hugged him, and cried, telling him she was sure he would come to save her. He apologized for being late. He hugged San and thanked him that. He was always standing by her side, protecting her. Suddenly, he saw one of the zombies running towards them. He attacked him, broke his legs, and asked the students to escape towards the mountain. Indeed, they listened and did so. They kept walking until they entered the tennis court, but they were surprised that the zombies were standing at the doors. They knew that meant they were trapped inside. An's father had to risk his life. He lit fireworks and threw them at them to attract their attention. He kept doing that to delay them. The students seized the opportunity and all left the court. An asked her father to come with them, but unfortunately he was bitten on his hand. He locked the door on himself and told her to leave quickly. An cried and refused to leave him. The zombies approached them. Her colleagues had to take her and escape. She saw her father dying before her eyes turning into a zombie. They kept running until they reached an abandoned building, but they were surprised that the workers turned into zombies too. They got scared and tried to escape from them. They had to stand on a scaffold in a high place. An was sad for her father and wanted to join him, but San stopped her at the last moment. He hugged her to comfort her and kept his hand on her mouth while she was crying so the zombies would not hear her voice. At that time, the bully was still at the school. When he entered the club, he found a student from the archery team hiding there and asked him about San's location, but he refused to tell him. The bully got angry and bit him on his neck. The student tried to hit him with the arrow, but he was surprised he was not affected. He knew he was a monster, got scared, and tried to escape from him, but unfortunately he died and turned into a zombie. Afterward, our students tried to find another way to go down, but suddenly the class president felt hungry and started turning into a full zombie. She tried to attack Huang, but she stopped herself at the last moment, biting her hand instead. Huang saw her and felt sorry for her. He told her that. He did not mind being bitten by her and turning like her. He decided to blindfold her so the rest of the students would not be afraid of her. She was touched by his words, but suddenly she heard the army soldiers and knew they would launch missiles at the city to blow it up. Indeed, the army started executing their plan. They deployed small drones to attract the zombies to one place and finish them off. The students got scared and decided to escape from the place quickly, but suddenly the bully knew their location and attacked San. Unfortunately, he bit him on his hand. After all this, he managed to reach him. He approached him to finish him off, but he heard the drones and felt a headache. San seized the opportunity and threw him from the top. He knew he was already infected with the virus and would turn. He hugged An and told her he loved her and would always love her. He said goodbye to her, walked away crying, and ran towards the zombies. He kept shouting to attract their attention. He stood on the fence and succeeded in defeating a large number of them. But afterward, the bully knew his location and went to him. This time, San decided to kill him because he had nothing to lose. He tried to hit him, but unfortunately, the bully was stronger than him. He defeated him and knocked him to the ground. He approached him laughing and decided to gouge out his eyes. Suddenly, the army launched missiles to kill the zombies. A huge explosion happened then. The school was wiped off the face of the earth. San decided to finish off the bully. He held him so he would not escape and threw both of them from the top. Luckily, the students escaped from the place first and went to the forest. At the same time, the army commander felt guilty because he knew there were students still alive in the school. He locked himself in his office and recorded a video asking people to forgive him for his decisions and resigned. Afterward, he called his wife and told her to take care of herself and the kids. He told her not to be sad about what he was going to do. He did that because he deserved it. He hung up, held the gun, and boom. The next day, the students woke up in the forest, shocked by what happened. They decided to continue their way to reach the city, but An refused because she had hoped that San was still alive. She went to the school to make sure. Huang and the class president had to go with her, but when they arrived, they were surprised everything was destroyed. An kept calling him crying. The class president told her it was over. She said she could not even smell his scent. She hugged her to comfort her, took her, and they returned to their colleagues. They continued their way in the forest and kept walking, but they got lost and confused and did not know what to do. They noticed signs on the trees and decided to follow them to reach the city. An found a flashlight lying on the ground. She knew it belonged to her father. She hugged it, remembering him and crying. They kept walking for a long time and were about to reach the city. But suddenly, the class president heard a sound from afar. She got scared and told them the zombies were approaching them. They were all surprised and tried to escape, but the fat student fell to the ground because he was injured in his leg. He asked them to leave him and go, but they of course refused, telling him either we all live or we all die. They stayed with him and each one of them started holding a weapon to fight the zombies. Indeed, they did so. The class president also helped them. She defeated a large number of zombies, zombies, but one of them attacked the archer and was about to bite her. Her brother had to stand in front of her. Unfortunately, he got bitten in her place. Before he died, he asked her to stay alive and win the championship. The archer apologized to him and promised him she would do that. She decided to finish him off before he turned into a zombie. They continued their way crying, but suddenly the class president felt hungry for the second time. She was afraid to attack any of them. She kept hitting her head on the wall to snap out of it and decided to move away from them to protect them. Wong noticed she disappeared. He and On went to look for her. They saw her eating a zombie. They asked her to come with them, but she refused and attacked On. She was about to bite her, but she snapped out of it and walked away crying, saying, "I told you to leave me alone." At the same time, the students left the city. The army soldiers saw them, confirmed they were not zombies, and decided to take them to the camp. There, they started interrogating them and asked them about the science teacher, but none of the students answered them because they abandoned them. Days passed and they remained locked in the camp for 3 months, so the army would make sure they were humans not infected with the virus. On kept going out of the camp every night hoping to find San or the class president. She left food for them in front of the camp. Afterward, Huang knew what she was doing and decided to go with her. At night, they gathered to go out, but they found their colleagues waiting for them. They told them, "We surely knew what you intended to do, and we were together from the start and must finish together." They all went out together, but they noticed someone lit a fire on the school roof. They decided to go find out who it was. Indeed, they did so and kept walking until they reached the roof. They were surprised it was the class president. They were happy she was still alive. They asked her to come with them to the camp, but she refused and told them she became half zombie and had a mission to do. Suddenly, she heard a sound and knew there were zombies close to the place. She left them and jumped over the fence and went to fight them. Everyone admired her personality and knew she became stronger than before. They felt that San was surely still alive too. I wonder what will happen in the second season, the destruction that will be released soon. Are you in a hurry for it, dear viewer, or not? It is coming soon and will be shown. If you liked it and want us to summarize the second season, let us know, and prove it to us in the first part. Activate the notification bell and get this video to 50,000 likes. I know I'm asking this of you and you ignore me, but feel for me. May God feel for you and do the like, dear viewer. This is for the video to spread and for everything new to reach you. Best evening to you. Goodbye.